Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. On behalf of the Indian Merchant Chamber, it gives me immense pleasure to welcome all of you to the IMC IT Awards ceremony. In particular, I extend a very warm welcome to our chief guest, Mr. P.S. Deodhar, and thank him for sparing his valuable time to grace this occasion. Mr. Deodhar is a multifaceted personality considered to be a pioneer of the Indian professional electronic industry. Indian Merchant Chamber, as an apex 107-year-old chamber, is delighted to contribute towards the growth of knowledge and technology by initiating the IT Awards from this year onwards. Friends, our theme for this year is sustainable development. Most of our events will revolve around this theme. Recognition of talent in the IT sector can help promote the objective of sustainable development. Our awards are the first step to recognize this fraternity of industry which has made IT synonymous with India. This is our humble effort to acknowledge all those who are working silently behind the scenes and whose sterling efforts often go unrecognized. I extend my heartiest congratulations to all the award winners, and I wish this event all success. That the Chamber got 150 applications in the very first year speaks volumes of Dr. Kanodia and his team's efforts. With Dr. Kanodia's backing, there is no doubt that we will be able to make our IT Awards yet another flagship event of our Chamber. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Mr. Vaidya. I now invite Dr. Lalit Kanodia for the introduction to the IMC IT Awards.
Ladies and gentlemen, first of all, I would like to extend a very special welcome to our chief guest, Mr. Deodhar, for his august presence in our midst today. I must congratulate all the winners who have been unanimously chosen by the jury to receive their awards today. I am delighted that IMC is highlighting the importance of IT to India by instituting these awards for the first time in a history of 107 years, which will become an annual flagship event. As you know, we have instituted 23 awards for both IT vendors and the user community. I'm pleased to inform you that in the very first cycle of these awards, we received 150 nominations for the awards, which is quite a record. I must add that in keeping with the national ethos, that is inclusive, sustainable development, and corporate social responsibility, our awards have been structured to encourage smaller IT vendors and also corporate social responsibility. It's my sincere hope that IMC, through this initiative, will provide a spur to the IT activities of India, and that India will reach yet greater heights in the years to come. Thank you again, everyone.
Quite meaty and exciting, given what it's been doing to our lives in a positive way and not so positive way, as some would argue. I mean, social media tends to inform us, it tends to excite us, it tends to give us news, and some would argue it even kills. So it's something that's clearly affecting public discourse. It's affecting the way we debate on issues. It obviously informs our opinion. It also polarizes people, and quite violently so. And perhaps all of this is a little more accentuated in the run-up to the parliamentary elections, which are going to be happening in May 2014. So my guests from the left, S. Swaminathan of IRIS, Sumit Chaudhary of President of Reliance, Harish Tibriwala, CEO of Social Wavelength, and Mahesh Murthy, who's going to join us shortly. Swami, do you want to start off with maybe some broad figures on why social media is something that has begun to influence our lives in the way we perhaps see it influencing us?
I think maybe I might want to sort of rephrase the question itself slightly.
Okay.
You know, as long as it's been society, it has been social media. So when Ganeshji drank milk, the word went around the world and came back to us within like a couple of hours. There was no Facebook, there was no internet, there was nothing of that sort. So I think maybe we need to look at it as digital social media. And what digital social media does, it provides access to more people to talk, and it provides access to more people to listen. And I think traditionally, you know, if people did not have the capacity to reach out to people, and so I think it's been seen as a nuisance. We have never been able to deal with democratization of content, the democratization of people's expression of opinion. And I think that's why people see it as a nuisance. I think that's fundamentally contradictory with our approach to empowering people.
Okay. Sumit, where do you want to come in?
I think just follow up from where Swami was talking about democratization of information. A lot of capitalism is based on asymmetry of information, because somebody has some information and others didn't, and therefore a lot of this was arbitraged and a lot of economy got created. But right now with social media, we are seeing that this information is going faster and that information asymmetry is moving away. The infrastructure that is required to power all of this has suddenly become more accessible, more available, more affordable to the masses, and it has essentially made it easy for common man to produce and consume information. I think that is where the difference has been. Earlier that was not the case.
In my opinion, the reason we are having this conversation about social media is because somewhere social media is now reaching a tipping point. You know, with almost 100 million users in India using Facebook or LinkedIn or Twitter, social media has the ability to impact public opinion. And that is why it becomes the subject of discussion and conversation. Also, in my opinion, social media is bringing a sense of democracy. And when I talk of democracy, it's not just gathering public opinion on issues like Nirbhaya case or the Jan Lokpal bill. So it seems to have reached that kind of a critical mass where it's actually starting to influence our public opinion and thereby becomes a subject for debate. To me, social media is not just Facebook, Twitter and Pinterest. These are some platforms. Any place where two-way conversation can happen. I can talk and you can talk back. To me is social media, two-way communication. 5 years back, you only had websites. In the websites, the brand talks and we all listen. You can't talk back to a website. But today, if you go to a Times of India, you can read an article and you can post your comment below the article.
So what's the one good thing that's come out of social media in your opinion, and what's the one bad thing that has come out of it, and something that we should be really concerned about?
Sure. So in my opinion, one good thing that has come out of social media is it is going to force us, all of us, to become more honest.
Any example that comes
Absolutely, absolutely. So 10 years back, you know, if you had to send a resume to somebody, you could look at the job opening and you could tweak your resume. So if it's VP sales, you change it. If it's VP marketing, you tweak it. You could be different things at different point of time. But today with LinkedIn, you can have only one resume.
So Mahesh, is it likely that at this point of time, given that we are still in early days, that the prospect of manipulation is higher?
People can try whatever, but the fact is that in the social media world, falsehoods are exposed like that.
Yeah.
You can't really afford to go and BS on social media. Somebody is going to find you, expose you, and that expose is going to become bigger than the original news, right?
At least my belief is that social media will not really tip the needle when it comes to elections, you know. Okay. People who are on social media come to seminars like this, or they don't really go and vote outside. You know? So it's too early days to say that social media can really tip the elections.
Okay, but do you feel that there is a sense of manipulation, there is a sense of control by some people who've understood this medium better than others?
Anything which is good also has an evil side. It's possible to manipulate everything. It's basically human nature. The good and evil manifest together. So there will be manipulation. The good part is because it is democracy at work, it will finally find the median.
I don't think we should just talk about social media as Facebook and Twitter.
Sure. Yes.
To me, anybody who dials a number and gets a phone call, who forwards an SMS, it's all social media, because this is not media that is top down, you know, one broadcaster, you know, multiple receivers. So if I look at what actually AAP has done, their big win is actually using the phone. Bane, boon, well, it depends on who uses it. It's more of a boon than a bane, simply because falsehoods can be exposed more easily. If your message is fit, it will survive. If not, it will die.
So let's understand two situations. One where it can do good or has done good, and one where it has not done good. Right? So let's start with the not good first. Okay, Mahesh, let me begin with you.
So social media is an amplifier, right? It takes a signal and makes it big. It's not creating the signal. That's all it is, right? So it will amplify the good, it will amplify the bad. It's an amplifier that nobody can control, because you really cannot influence 1 billion people, you know, beyond a particular point. What you can do is messages that deserve to get out will get out. Messages that don't will fall by.
So let's look at the positive side. Swami, do you want to, any example that comes to mind where you feel that social media is a boon as opposed to the bane?
I think it goes back to what he said about amplification. Suddenly you have more people listening to most things. Is that good? Absolutely yes. You know, we live in a democratic society. We believe in democratic discourse. Earlier, a few people had access to this democratic discourse. They were all listeners. Now they have an opportunity to participate in an active way.
This world calls for a different etiquette as individuals, yes. Right? So are we really ready for it?
On the good side, I think what it allows us to do today is to spread the word faster. And this is the power that it will give to a lot of people who are starting out, who are trying to do something to spread the message without incurring enormous amounts of cost. And I can do the analysis also the same way. Where is the information coming from? Where is it going? Can I send a message to somebody? And so those kinds of things was not possible before, and now it is.
To add, I think one thing really that has come out is that people trust random strangers more than they trust official you know, official news.
So let's ask the question. I mean, you know, the acceleration, I mean, the consumption is growing. Infrastructure is accelerating. What's going to happen? I think let's get a few views on what this world looks like. Is it going to be a more dangerous world? Is it going to be a happier world?
No, I think every time there's a change, every 10 years, the world absolutely becomes more happier. It's going to be a better world. There'll be less dependence on published sources of information. It will depend less on Times of India or an NDTV to give you information. It is going to be consumer-based communication that's going to grow exponentially.
So it's going to be dangerous to people who don't know how to cope with it, right? We're suddenly going to see far more democratization. You're going to see harder and harder to hide crime and corruption.
Swami, what else are you kind of, what's your prognosis?
See, the quality of content will actually go up and not go down.
Okay. So
I think there's, just like the internet had the big bad world and then it became wall gardened. I think we are going to see this wall gardening where, again, you're going to go back to people who are going to chaperone information. Let's say they are going to make sure that the right information is being said. That's where journalists will come in again to sort of curate the right information. And there is going to be a big bad world where everything that you want to see is available out there. So I think this wall garden approach as well as the big bad world both will exist, and we will see this happening to information, to news, to everything that is going to be out there.
Some very interesting points. You've heard about the amplification, you've heard about the damage it can do, you heard about the fact that you really can't hide anymore. You've also heard that if you don't want to participate in this game, that's something that you can choose to stay away from, but at the same time acknowledge that this is something that's going to fundamentally change the way we look at things, including politics, and that's going to be a big subject of discussion in coming months, and we'll stop there. Thank you very much.
Gentlemen, IMC will be conferring 23 IT awards to companies and individuals. We will begin with category 2, which is the CSR category. The winner is Railtel Corporation of India Limited. The next sector is quality, and the award goes to Datamatics Global Services Limited. The Lifetime Achievement Award in this category goes to Mr. F.C. Kohli, the person who is credited with putting Indian IT industry on the world map, building TCS into the largest software company in India. Category 1, IT services, large sector. The award goes to My Mobile Payments Limited for implementation of Money on Mobile, which enables consumers to make payments to merchants using their mobile phones. Same category, IT services, large sector. The other award goes to HCL Technologies Limited for the